Good evening, everybody, and glad to see us all assembled again for the Unity of Livonia A Course in Miracles Study Group. And I see Hilda's here, so that means we're officially official when Hilda gets here. So why don't we let her get she's in, but we need to get her mic. Hi, Hilda.
Hello, good evening.
I
Hilda.
Hi, Hilda.
Hi.
Hi.
just wanted to say hello. We were just getting ready to start for tonight, Hilda.
Okay.
So everybody seems to be doing fine and ready to go. So why don't we get going with our workbook lesson tonight? And as much as I hate to say it again, we're on one of my all-time favorite lessons. And it's on page 291 in the workbook for students. Lesson 155. So I'll get the reading list going here. Judy is 1 and Sherilyn is 2. Janet's not reading. Frank is 3. Gina 4. Nancy 5.
Jim, I won't
Yes.
be able to read tonight, Jim.
Okay, so Gina's 4. Nancy's not reading. So Ron is 5. Louise will be 6. And Hilda is lucky 7 tonight. I'm not surprised. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Good to me.
All right. Lesson 155. So please get us started, Judy.
I will step back and let him lead the way. There is a way of living in the world that is not here, although it seems to be. You do not change appearance, though you smile more frequently. Your forehead is serene. Your eyes are quiet. And the ones who walk the world as you do recognize their own. Yet those who have not yet perceived the way will recognize you also and believe that you are like them as you were before.
And let's do Sherilyn for paragraph 2, and then we'll discuss.
Okay, now we're on page 252, is that correct?
291. 291.
Okay.
In
Well,
the
maybe some-
workbook, right?
Yeah, and then we're just haven't gotten to it yet.
Sure. And you'll be paragraph 2.
Yes. 291.
Mhm.
I'm almost there, almost there. Okay. The world is an illusion. Those who choose to come to it are seeking for a place where they can be illusions and avoid their own reality. Yet, when they find their own reality is even here, then they step back and let it lead the way. What other choice is really theirs to make? To let illusions walk ahead of truth is madness, but to let illusions sink behind the truth and let the truth stand forth as what it is merely sanity.
Yeah, thank you. Boy, there's a lot in those first 2 paragraphs to me. What do you think Jesus is saying here? How about in paragraph 1? Anybody want to give it a shot?
I think Jesus is saying that those who follow him, who follow the truth of their being, are very peaceful and serene. And people that are also peaceful and serene can see that there's an energy match. And those people who are not peaceful and serene will also recognize the person as they used to be, which is very interesting to me because it goes back to perception. The people who are not yet, let's say, living the way,
Yes.
are still living in perception. And so in their minds, they perceive each and every one of us as we, quote, used to be before we found the truth.
Excellent.
But when you find the truth and you look at someone that is also on the same pathway, you can recognize it. You can feel the energy change, the difference.
So I'm in total agreement, but let's make sure we're agreeing. And maybe more than that, make sure everybody's with us on this, Judy. The easy part to me, it's in paragraph 1. The easy part relatively is in sentence 4. And the ones who walk the world as you do recognize their own. Kind of like you kind of recognize like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of easy. But that second sentence, sentence 5, yet those who have not perceived the way will recognize you also and believe that you are like them as you were before. What does that mean? And what is the advantage of that, if any? Not sentence 4, but sentence 5. What advantage does that play? Frank?
Yes. People who are coming from what I'll, for lack of a better word, say ego mind, will see someone who is perceiving from the truth, will still see them from their own ego mind.
And what advantage is that?
I don't see that it's necessarily an advantage to the perceiver who is perceiving.
So let's talk about it, because
you might also recognize oh, there's something different about the other person.
who recognizes that there's something different?
The person who comes what I would say the everyday ego type of personality.
Reverend may
go ahead.
not see or know or have any experience of the truth of their being, but they see someone that is like them, but also having an easier time in life. You know, someone that isn't so anxious or depressed or stressed or striving, and they identify, because we are all brothers, they don't know where that is coming from, but they still recognize it in a perceptual way, not it with spiritual eyes.
I see what you mean. They may not recognize the whole significance of it, I believe you're saying.
Right.
There is something admirable when they see your example. Like there's something different about them. They're always kind of calm and cool and collected. And they don't get upset so much like us. How am I doing, Judy?
That's about right in my experience.
All right.
But
So
at the same time, going back to sentence 4, at least for me, and I would guess that everyone on this screen will have the same experience. You can walk into any Unity church and you feel like you're at home.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's let me just offer mine because it's very subtle, but I want you to pick up on what I believe Jesus is saying in sentence 5.
Okay.
Yet those who have not yet perceived the way will recognize you also and believe that you are like them as you were before. So the way that I can use that as a minister of God, the way that I can use sentence 5 is that people who haven't gotten the insights that we have, when they see me, they think that's just Jim.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They have no idea of how Jim has changed on the inside.
Right.
But the advantage of that is that they're not afraid of me. I look like a regular person. So they don't mind letting me hang out with them.
Mhm.
They'll listen because they're not afraid of me. They see something familiar. They see what they saw of me before, whereas I've changed on the inside. I'm something new on the inside, but they don't see that, so they're not afraid of me. I have on a costume now,
Mhm.
a welcomed costume that lets me infiltrate enough to deliver my message.
Whether the message is silent or loud doesn't matter. And like Jesus fit into every group of people that he was exposed to in the Bible. They
Yes,
were comfortable with him, whether they were prostitutes or,
that's the point.
what, I don't know what they were called, but we don't have to proselytize. We don't have to say anything directly, live like I live. None of that is important. You're just allowing spirit to radiate through you to bless everybody.
And you have a cover on for those that are still afraid of spirit.
Correct.
Can you imagine if you went to a mall and a disembodied voice started talking to you saying, hey, come over here, I want to talk to you for a minute? How could you get their attention when they're already running screaming out of the mall? I heard this voice talking.
Mhm. And that's
So
kind
you
of what
see,
people do when they see street preachers or whatever, they just turn the other way.
well,
But
can
if
you imagine how afraid they would be if they didn't see anything they recognized and only heard a voice?
Mm,
So what used to be my body becomes a convenient communication device that people don't run from. Now I have a chance of talking to you. Hey, that's just Jim or Ron or Louise. They have no idea that I'm no longer Jim, but this costume that you call Jim is a teaching device for the Holy Spirit now. Who's with me on this?
I am.
I am.
mhm. We are channels or instruments through
Okay.
which God can work.
Do you see how spirit, God's plan, destroys nothing, but simply takes what we made and uses it for a different purpose? So spirit doesn't attack and destroy Jim. He just says, here, use Jim. He's great as a costume. Excellent. Is that, I find it remarkable. What do you think?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Okay. So when you hear Jesus say, you can be in it, but not of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of the flavor of that. There is a way of living in the world that is not here, although it seems to be. And so what you do is use your costume for familiarity, and yet use your inner light. So now you can demonstrate spirit through you. So do you see why this is one of my favorite lessons? I want you to understand that in order to embrace this kind of spirituality, it doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice. You'll just become a better Jim or a better Gina because you look like a regular person. But as Judy and maybe some others have said, they look like a regular person, but you know, there's something about them. You see what I mean?
This says they're very smiley. They smile more frequently.
They don't run from
I
stuff.
love that.
They're not all scary. They don't get upset. I wonder how they do that. Now maybe they'll ask you. And now you can tell them even more easily, right? But you can share because they trust you. You look just like them. You look like a regular person. All right, I don't want to run that in the ground, but are we off to a good start on this?
Mm-hmm.
What about paragraph 2? Anything there that I think it just expounds on what it's like when you learn to live in, like paragraph 1 says. It's just more details about that.
Well, the world's an illusion is different. But I tend to look at people now with understanding, acceptance, and love, more so than I would before.
Even in level 2,
Yes.
you can carry this out. Now, using your body as a costume, as a communication device. But do you see how you've let go and let spirit lead the way?
Yes.
You're not even quote unquote Jim anymore. But Jim is a worthy tool for your mission here. You really are the light of the world. You're gonna have to step up.
That's what I'm becoming.
Yeah, and you're becoming it by undoing and just letting your true self shine even here in level 2. You have to kind of cover it up here. You can't do it directly, right? Because people will raise defenses out of fear. So we have to set the table for teaching. We have to not have people not be afraid to be in relationship with us. We have to not be on a pedestal, but we have to be on the ground with them. Is that the course, at any rate, it's very difficult to be a savior from an ivory tower. You have to come and meet people where they are. And you can't do it being a pompous ass, right?
Right.
Right.
My speech on that, we good on paragraph 2?
Yes.
All right, I'll try not to say so much on the next one.
Oh, it's good. It's helpful, Jim.
Oh, okay. Frank, you know where we are?
Yeah, number 3.
All right. Thank you, sir.
This is the simple choice we make today. The mad illusion will remain a while in evidence, for those who look upon who chose to become have not yet rejoiced to find they were mistaken in their choice. They cannot learn directly from the truth because they have denied that it is so. And so they need a teacher who perceives their madness, but who still can look beyond illusions and to the simple truth in them.
Mm-hmm. Do you see how that's still in line with what we've been talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Gina?
Mhm. If truth demanded they give up the world, it would appear to them as if it asked the sacrifice of something that is real. Many have chosen to renounce the world while still believing its reality, and they have suffered from a sense of loss and have not been released accordingly. Others have chosen nothing but the world, and they have suffered from a sense of loss still deeper, which they did not understand.
Comments? Questions? Okay. Let's see where he's going with this. Ron?
Between these paths, there is another road that leads away from loss of every kind. For sacrifice and deprivation, both are quickly left behind. This is the way appointed for you now. You walk this path as others walk, nor do you seem to be distinct from them, although you are indeed. Thus can you serve them while you serve yourself and set their footsteps on the way that God has opened up to you and then through you.
Mm-hmm. Shall we continue or do you have a comment, anybody? Okay, we're up to Louise.
Illusion still appears to cling to you that you may reach them, yet it has stepped back. And it is not illusion that they hear you speak of, nor illusion that you bring their eyes to look on and their minds to grasp. Nor can the truth, which walks ahead of you, speak to them through illusions, for the road leads past illusion now, while on the way you call to them that they may follow you.
Who's going to follow you when they're afraid of you? Do you see the work of a good teacher is making sure you remember in the course where Jesus says a good teacher never terrorizes his students.
Right.
Nobody's going to really follow you if they're afraid of you. And that goes from being a school teacher to, a university or a manager or God. who's going to follow a God they're afraid of? But isn't that what our religions have asked us to do?
So often.
It's a lot easier to follow someone when the lessons are joyous and not full of fear and strife. And okay, so good teachers spend a lot of time building trust. Remember in the course where it says, if a brother asks something ridiculous of you, don't treat him like an idiot. Do you see how that all is flowing together? Now there are a lot of things that we can do that come from love. All is not lost because we give up this ego response. Here in level 2, there are a number of very strong responses that are loving. But to get to those, you have to be willing to examine the old responses and see how you can replace them with new ones here in level 2. And how you can begin through your teaching and through your example to encourage other brothers to do it too. Shall we continue? Ron, you just read? No, Louise read, right?
Right.
We're up to Hildegard.
Yes, we are.
Mhm.
All roads lead to this one in the end. To sacrifice and deprivation are paths that lead nowhere. Choices for the feet and aims that will remain impossible. All this steps back to the truth comes forth in you. To lead your brothers from the ways of death and set them on the way to happiness. Their suffering is but illusion, yet they need a guide to lead them out of it, for they mistake illusion for the truth.
Okay. So we can't, the ones that recognize you and know you're like them, and remember line 5, do you see, that'll happen. But it's hard to teach the truth directly to people who don't want it to be true. So you have to use a different strategy for them. In the Bible, Jesus says, those who are healthy don't need a doctor. Sadhguru, y'all know Sadhguru, right? I talk about him all the time, right?
Like I know.
Oh man, I just lost my thought. He says so many good ones here. But Sadhguru would say, everybody in the insane asylum thinks the doctor is crazy.
Crazy.
Okay, I mean okay, yeah, you have to give it, that's okay. So that's what we're working with here. That's what the Holy Spirit's got to work with. People that don't want to hear the truth. They still are trying to cling on and trying to figure out how to make separate heavens work. They don't want to hear the truth that there are no separate heavens, that it'll never work. So it's very hard to teach them something they don't want to be taught. So that's the major hurdle that Spirit would have us get over in carrying out our ministry. Now, you all know you are here for a ministry, yes or no? You want to
Yes.
talk about that?
Mhm.
You thought you were here at random? That's
No.
what our egos would have us believe, right?
Yeah.
No.
Now, the most fundamental law there is what law?
Cause and effect.
Okay, so how could things be at random? You can't have it both ways. Does everything have a cause?
Mm-hmm.
So does that help you to be more aware as you go through every experience you have during your day?
Definitely.
What could you not accept if you but knew, right, Frank?
Right.
This is not at random. So we all have a part to play. Okay, I'll stop here. You're still smiling, you don't have headaches. Okay. Love wouldn't give you a headache, right? All right. Is this making sense so far? Is it worth your time to go through?
Mhm.
All right, let's go ahead and finish up. It's a long lesson. So we're back to Judy.
Number 8. Such is salvation's call and nothing more. It asks that you accept the truth and let it go before you, lighting up the path of ransom from illusion. It is not a ransom with a price. There is no cost, but only gain. Illusion can but seem to hold in chains the Holy Son of God. But it is from illusions he is saved. As they step back, he finds himself again.
Cheryl, in paragraph 9.
Okay. Walk safely now, yet carefully, because this path is new to you, and you may find that you are tempted still to walk ahead of truth and let illusions be your guide. Your holy brothers have been given you to follow in your footsteps as you walk with certainty of purpose to the truth. It goes before you now that they may see something with which they can identify, something they understand to lead the way.
Comments on 8 or 9? Paragraph 9, sentence 3, it says, your holy brothers have been given you to follow in your footsteps as you walk with certainty of purpose to the truth. I don't know that's why my holy brothers have been given me. I thought a lot of them were enemies. I thought a lot of them were here to hold me back. Didn't you? This is certainly a new way of, you think that's true?
It sometimes appears to be true.
But he never uses the word sometimes in this writing, does he? It's like, it's not arrogant. It's just
Confident.
as though it's non-dual. There is no other, nothing else. He guarantees everything, doesn't he? And when I say everything, I'm not playing, right? Isn't that it's very authoritative. Omniscient, isn't it? Okay.
Rev-
Any comments there?
The important part is that we walk with certainty of purpose to the truth. You can't be walking on the fence. You have to either live your truth, walk your truth, or not. You can't sometimes yes, sometimes no.
And let me tell you why that's such a hard ask, Judy. What is the truth? You don't know. That's what makes it really
Well,
hard.
the way I see my truth is that there is only one presence and one power. So my brothers are all part of that one presence and that one power.
How do
And
you know you're seeing it?
when
Truth.
I see them that way, when I know the truth of their being, then I am living my truth, my purpose. And if there's a time when I can't because people irritate me, because situations bother me, then I ask the Holy Spirit to show me the way, to show me my way, to help me see things differently so I can choose again.
I admire your loyalty.
It works. Why live any other way? Right?
I'm with you.
It makes life easy.
I'm
Let's
with you.
a real life example.
And
Okay. And
that is, you can't see it work if you don't try it. And
Right.
apparently you've tried it and you can be a witness. How can you be a witness if you don't try it?
Correct.
And you can't try it sometimes. You have to try it as often as you possibly can because the benefits are reciprocal. The more you do it, the more it comes to you. The
Correct.
less you do it, the more sporadic you do it, the more sporadic and less are the results. Isn't that fair? Doesn't that respect your free will?
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
And you know, I'm not just talking to Judy, right? We're
Right.
everybody, right? Was there more discussion though about this?
Well, I would like to say something. I have had holy brothers given to me to lead me in their footsteps as they walk with certainty of purpose. And it certainly wasn't a black and white thing for me. And I'm still working on it because I'm in the world some days and I'm out of the world some days.
Yeah.
And even because sometimes I forget where I am. And thank God I do have some holy brothers that, I can look at now and then to hone in on and say, oh, oops, I screwed up.
Yeah. And I can't do it every moment, every time now. But Spirit didn't ask me for that. He asked for willingness, right?
Right.
I don't have to do it. I simply have to be willing to do it, and it will be done for me, but only with my permission. Now, here's where I'm going with this. What this all is boiling down to is trust. You're not going to follow something wholeheartedly that you don't trust. Who in their right mind would do that? So, what is the first characteristic of a teacher of God? We're going to need to look it up, or
Trust.
weren't you here last year? Thank you.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay. So do you see how this course kind of collapses together if we can discuss it a little bit and see some of the applications of the things that are being said here? Are we on 10?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there any questions or comments before we go on? All right, good deal. Are we up to Frank again?
Up to me again. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yet as the journey's ending, there will be no gap, no distance between truth and you, and all illusions walking in the way you traveled will be gone from you as well, with nothing left to keep the truth apart from God's completion, holy as himself. Step back in faith and let truth lead the way. You know not where you go, but one who knows goes with you. Let him lead you the rest of the way with the rest.
Do you have a question, Frank?
No, I was just misread. My eyes were watering, and I was misreading what I was reading.
Oh, okay.
Allergies affect my vision. So,
Oh man. All right. Well, we got it though, right?
yeah, I think so.
Gina, do 11, please.
Yep.
Yeah, she's
When dreams are over, time has. Am I good?
yes.
Okay. When dreams are over, time has closed the door on all the things that pass, and miracles are purposeless. The Holy Son of God will make no journeys. There will be no wish to be illusion rather than the truth. And we step forth toward this as we progress along the way that truth points out to us. This is our final journey, which we make for everyone. We must not lose our way, for as truth goes before us, so it goes before our brothers who will follow us.
Let's keep reading, Ron.
We walk to God. Pause and reflect on this. Could any way be holier or more deserving of our effort, of your love, and of your full intent? What way could give you more than everything or offer less and still content the Holy Son of God? We walk to God. The truth that walks before us now is one with him and leads us to where he has always been. What way but this could be a path that you would choose instead?
Makes sense? Everybody?
Yes.
We're up to Louise.
Your feet are safely set upon the road that leads the world to God. Look not to ways that seem to lead you elsewhere. Dreams he has placed his, dreams are not a worthy guide for you who are God's son. Forget not he has placed his hand in yours and given you your brothers in his trust, that you are worthy of his trust in you. He cannot be deceived. His trust has made your pathway certain and your goal secure. You will not fail your brothers nor yourself.
And Hilda, let's just finish.
And now he asks but that you think of him a while each day, that he may speak to you and tell you of his love, reminding you how great his trust, how limitless his love. In your name and in his name, his own which are the same, we practice gladly with this thought today. I will step back and let him lead the way, for I would walk along the road with him. To him. For I would walk the road to him.
Is that the same as letting go and letting God?
I think so.
Mhm.
Sounds like it.
How many ways have we heard that same message in so many different forms, right?
Right.
Do you
Mhm.
see how you're learning to see content regardless of form? These are just different formats for delivering the same message. Don't you see the course is just strategically teaching us different forms of the same thing until our eyes are open and we recognize what is the same no matter what the what is the same content no matter what the form. How simple is salvation? Let go.
Let go.
Let God.
Listen, I've been in the spiritual game for a while. Okay. Here's my revelation that I would share with everybody. Something seems to run things and it's not me.
Yep.
Thank God.
Absolutely. Thank God. So, what are my choices? To try and run things
No,
or to get on board?
get on board.
Get on board.
Can you think of any other choices?
Well, you can wallow in whatever you're in.
Unrealistic, right?
Yes.
The truth is not me. So, do you see why lesson 68 says love holds no grievances? Love's all in. Love's not fighting this plan. Love's going with it and doing its part to bring it about. Love's involved with bringing heaven to earth. Who am I to stop that? But I'm glorious when I learn to be part of it. Wasn't that what we just read? Can you think of a more, could any way be holier or more deserving of your effort, of your love, and of your full intent? What way could give you more than everything? Who wouldn't want everything? Who in their right mind?
Couldn't handle it.
Do you see how we're moving from what the course calls wrong-mindedness to right-mindedness?
Mhm.
It's still not knowledge, but it is purifying our perception to where what we're perceiving is from a right-minded, reasonable viewpoint, from a crazy, insane viewpoint. It's not up to me. Did you think it was up to you? We're part of something bigger than Jim, whether we like it or not. The problem is, I do like it. It's my ego that don't like it.
Doesn't.
But I can't count him because he's crazy. I'm preaching good, right?
Sounds good, Jim.
You are.
All right.
Praise the Lord.
Won't he do it? We got a few minutes for meditation. Is that okay?
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
So I'll put the music on and I will step back and let him lead the way. I don't think this is a video clip. Anyhow, I'm just going to, okay, never mind. Let me just find it and see what happens here. I will step back and let him lead the way. Hmm. I will step back and let him lead the way. Whatever this thing is, I'm part of it. I'm not separate from it. Who would have the audacity to think they could be separate from the all? I'm not going to do that. Hmm. I mean, it could be bad, but my life is a lot easier if I stop fighting what can't be defeated. What do you think? Speak up, somebody. You know how to unmute, right?
No, I said I agree
Sounds
with
good
you,
to me.
definitely.
All right, so we got a sounds good to me, and Frank, say that again.
I said I agree with you. Definitely a much better way of living.
Yeah, who in their right mind wouldn't agree? The problem is these people are not in their right mind. And I don't say it in the derogatory way or like I'm better than them. Thank goodness I'm moving toward right-mindedness. I'm thinking straight because I've turned thinking over. What a responsibility having to figure every damn thing out. I'm going to go with the one that'll make my crooked road straight and remove the stones from my path so I don't bruise my toes. And the one that can show me where the doors are so I can quit banging my head. I'm grateful. This is the message. I'm just saying I'm sharing it because it makes me happy and it comes out. Don't you see it?
Yes.
Definitely.
And I see it in you too, my friends. So we're good together. We're okay. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to just show you that you gotta share this, but you can't share it willy-nilly because you'll be talking to people that think you're out of your mind, that you're the one that's crazy. That's exactly the response you'd expect from the crazies, right?
Right.
But there is a way to lovingly work through it. I don't know how to do it, but I know someone who does. Questions, comments? Did we do justice to 155? Okay.
Good.
I think we did.
You enjoying the course so far this year?
Very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm here every week.
I see it. I see it from everybody, and I appreciate it. I think it's valuable stuff here. Let's go to chapter 23 in the text. The war against yourself. It's on page 485 in the text. And I'm thinking, are we up to Ron for reading it? Yeah, Gina, you still here for now, right? I think.
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay, you said around 8:30 though, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay, good deal. Ron, would you get us going with the introduction? We're on 485, the war
Sure.
against yourself. Wow.
Yes, the War Against Yourself introduction. Do you not see the opposite of frailty and weakness is sinlessness? Innocence is strength, and nothing else is strong. The sinless cannot fear, for sin of any kind is weakness. The show of strength attack would use to cover frailty conceals it not. For how can the unreal be hidden? No one is strong who has an enemy, and no one can attack unless he thinks he has. Belief in enemies is therefore the belief in weakness, and what is weak is not the will of God. Being opposed to it, it is God's enemy, and God is feared as an opposing will.
Wow. Okay, let's do one more and then discuss. Wow. Louise? You there, Louise, for paragraph 2?
Yeah.
It's your turn. I'm showing after Ron.
Oh, here we go. Okay, I was muted, I guess. How strange indeed becomes this war against yourself. You will believe that everything you use for sin can hurt you and become your enemy, and you will fight against it and try to weaken it because of this, and you will think that you succeeded and attack again. It is as certain you will fear what you attack as it is sure that you will love what you perceive as sinless. He walks in peace who travels sinlessly along the way love shows him. For love walks with him there, protecting him from fear, and he will see only the sinless who cannot attack.
You see why I'm always saying you have no enemies. Sadhguru says he'll be speaking at a place and someone will say, everybody's out to get me. They treat me wrong and they do me dirty. And how can I stop that? And Sadhguru would say, you know, it's very hard to defeat something that's not real. How do you do that? You can't defeat it. The only approach is to let it go. And because it's not real, you can do that. What do you think?
Yes.
Mhm.
So why are we running around sweating? Why are we afraid of the boogeyman or some counterpart? Why?
Fear.
Why are we trying to overcome it? You can't overcome the unreal. Right? Somebody say something.
We can try.
On some level, we think it is real
True.
because it's right. We are trying to overcome it.
That's the point. It's misguided yet the world teaches it has to be overcome. Doesn't it? Do you see? It's what is sin? What is sin? That's discussed here in these paragraphs extensively. What's kind of a generic? Nancy, you're good at that one.
An
What
error in
is sin?
judgment.
Okay. A lot of times I'll hear you say it's a mistake.
Right.
So, how can you overcome a mistake? Stop it.
Correct it.
Replace it with something that's like not a mistake. So when we operate like we have to have enemies and things that are attacking us and stuff like that, do you see why it's called the war against yourself?
Definitely.
It's like how many times, I'm sorry, it's side guru night. How many times have you been afraid of being stabbed compared to how many times you've actually been stabbed? How
None.
many times have you been in a car crash compared to how many times you've been afraid of it? How many times have you been afraid of losing all your money compared to how many times you have? What's the ratio? Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
So it's hard to live in the present when you're always thinking about the unreal. It's hard to see clearly when our minds are so preoccupied with the unreal that we're acting like it's real. It's a cover-up, isn't it? I'll keep you busy with stuff so you can't see. I'll keep you blind. Because if you discover what's going on here, like the wizard behind the curtain, I know you'll kick me out. You're not having it, you see? So deception is my best chance at staying quote unquote alive. What else are you seeing? Anything in these two paragraphs here? You want to continue reading? Are we up to Hilda?
Yes, we are.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Oh, okay, paragraph 3. Walk you in glory, with your head held high, and fear no evil. The innocent are safe because they share their innocence. Nothing they see is harmful, for their awareness of the truth releases everything from the illusion of harmfulness. And what seemed harmful now stands shining in their innocence, released from sin and fear and happily returned to love. They share the strength of love because they looked on innocence. And every error disappeared because they saw it not. Who looks for glory finds it where it is. Where could it be but in the innocent?
I thought glory was in conquest. Isn't that what a lot of us have been taught? Number one will conquer you. We're looking for a fight. Yay! Isn't that exciting? I was talking to my granddaughter the other day, and we're with her mom, and granddaughter wants to go on the big roller coaster at Cedar Point, I guess it is.
Yes.
And she said, "You go on it, right, Grandpa?"
Ah,
I said, "I don't think so." And she says, "It's really scary, Grandpa." I said, "It makes no sense to me to be scared anymore. If I want to be scared, I can just turn on the evening news." She said, "Oh, Grandpa." But I have changed, I mean, like the haunted houses, and no offense to anyone, it's just, that's not my favorite feeling anymore, to be scared. So I've changed. Um, Anything anyone want to say? We doing okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I'm showing we're back to Judy.
Number 4,
Yay.
let not the little interferers pull you to littleness. There can be no attraction of guilt in innocence. Think what a happy world you walk with truth beside you. Do not give up this world of freedom for a little sigh of seeming sin, nor for a tiny stirring of guilt's attraction. Would you, for all these meaningless distractions, lay heaven aside? Your destiny and purpose are far beyond them, in the clean place where littleness does not exist.
You on the next page there?
One more sentence.
Do you
Your
see it, Judy?
purpose is at variance with littleness of any kind, and so it is at variance with sin.
Talk about that last sentence, somebody. Have you been following along? And then Jesus says, your purpose is at variance with littleness of any kind. And so it is at variance with mistakes, right? Nancy said sin is a mistake. Let me ask you this. Can the omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent make a mistake?
No,
No, I think so.
It's kind of hard thing, to have on your resume when you're God, is that you made a few mistakes.
Perfect.
So when I think I have sinned, fallen short or missed the mark or made a mistake, already I'm in the realm of the unreal. That's a great sign that I'm hallucinating again. It just depends on what you think you are. Yes?
mhm.
yes,
I don't know. I think loving people have been misidentified here. like we're some little weaklings or something.
Mhm. We are taught from little on that we are not as great as we are.
We're not conquerors and out there fighting, and those are the things. I mean, it's just like, Holy Week. Remember, it started with Palm Sunday,
Mhm.
and here comes this conqueror riding on a donkey. That must have turned things on its head. How could strength be on a donkey? Isn't that the radical things that Jesus was teaching us about the strength in humbleness, in love, in peacefulness, humility? Okay. So to me, those, what the Course is saying is what real strength is. Strength is in innocence, it's in purity, it's in wholeness, it's in absoluteness, it's in monism, non-dualism. It's whole. There's nothing stronger than wholeness. And that's what we are, part of a whole. Sorry you can't be Frank or Gina or Jan. As much as your egos would like you to be. But love's going to let us keep on to the personalities, because it's going to help us with our mission here. You see, it's not for your purposes, it's for the purpose of the mission. Yeah. And the mission is glorious. So did we finish this section? No.
No.
Two more paragraphs, right?
Yeah, yes, it's
So,
my turn, I guess.
Sherilyn, yeah, go ahead, dear.
Let us not let littleness lead God's Son into temptation. His glory is beyond it, measureless and timeless as eternity. Do not let time intrude upon your sight of him. Leave him not frightened and alone in his temptation, but help him rise above it and perceive the light of which he is a part. Your innocence will light the way to his, and so is yours protected and kept in your awareness. For who can know his glory and perceive the little and the weak about him? Who can walk trembling in a fearful world and realize that heaven's glory shines on him?
Mm-hmm. And Frank, finish us up, please.
Nothing around you but is part of you. Look on it lovingly and see the light of heaven in it. So will you come to understand all that is given you? The kind forgiveness will the world spark to and shine, and everything you once thought sinful now will be reinterpreted as part of heaven. How beautiful it is to walk clean and redeemed and happy through a world in better need of the redemption that your innocence bestows upon it. Yeah. What can the redemption that your innocence bestows upon it? What can you value more than this? For here is your salvation and your freedom, and it must be complete if you would recognize it.
How come he says it must be complete if you would recognize it? What's he mean by that phrase, complete? What must be complete? Sentence 8 says, and it must be complete, right? What's it?
salvation and freedom.
salvation and freedom.
Why must it be complete for me to recognize it?
No, it means that I will be complete when I recognize it within myself.
So let me make sure I got it here. And salvation and freedom must be complete if I would recognize my salvation and freedom. Did I read that correctly?
Right. When we have a recognition of the truth of our being, it is complete. It comes complete to us. It is complete already, but our salvation, our way back to the truth of our being, is to recognize the completeness of it.
Now, I have a different take on that. Let me offer this.
Sure.
To me, when it says complete, it's talking about everybody else before it can be complete. Is that valid, or is it more what you were saying, or any credence in what I'm adding on, or do you all even understand what I'm talking about?
I understand what you're talking about because there are a lot of people who think that we are not going to, in essence, bring heaven onto earth until everyone recognizes that heaven is here on earth. And then the whole scenario of the illusion will have been completed. There will be no reason for the illusion anymore. I see it as individually we can have this realization.
And
Because
yet,
there's only one, Reverend Jim. So as each one of us 9 people on this screen, come into the realization, which is really the grace of the Holy Spirit, it's complete. The truth has always been whole. It's never been apart, but it will be complete for us.
us 9 people, right?
But through us to everyone.
That's the tail on it that I think is significant. For me to recognize this fully is to restore wholeness. Remember,
Was always
I
there.
can't do it alone because I'm not alone.
Correct.
I have to do it first before I can teach it, or I will teach a lie. You can't teach what you don't have yourself, can you? Legitimately. But I'm saying that the self-realization is a first step, because you can't share what you don't have yourself. But when you find that gift, you can't help but share it. Remember, the cup is not half full any longer, and now it's full and
Overflow.
bubbling over. It can't help but bubble over. So you'll be sharing it not out of something transactional. I'll give you this to get something. You don't have a need. You're just so abundant, you can't help but share it. And so that's why I'm kind of dwelling on that little additional angle. To me, it means first, I must have it for myself. Do you remember how the Course says the sole responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for themselves, like Judy was saying, right?
But the way those words are spoken, it implies duality.
What words?
The words myself, I, the small I. I think that when we come to self-realization, which is the large I, we realize that it is everywhere present.
Well,
And I think it's important to make that distinction, because otherwise, in our minds, being human and being of the ego, we think we have to change people. We don't change people.
people change because they see the light in us. We're going to close out here. Let me say it one more time and see if it passes, okay, this time around. Once we can achieve this self-realization for ourselves to the point that we live it, we won't have to proselytize others with our words and convincing. Our demonstration will light the light in others. We don't have to do anything but realize it and act on it for ourselves, and it will teach others automatically. It'll spread, it'll share. You can't turn your light off. You don't have to do anything other than be what you've discovered, and it will spread. How are we doing with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jesus demonstrated that you can't be killed. He didn't just talk about it. He went to an extreme example to show you. Isn't that what he says in chapter 6? Mine was an extreme example of what I'm asking you to do under much less hardship. But I did it to make a point. Chapter 6, the message of the crucifixion.
Right.
Okay. Okay. I think we went over, right?
I think so.
Satisfactory tonight?
And we didn't get
Very
to
good.
one in reconciliable beliefs.
Yeah. Do it this week. Sorry.
We're not going to put it on the agenda for next week.
No, I apologize. The way that this Tuesday night is structured. Here, let's just be honest. I'll wrap this up in 2 minutes. I can't cover this material with you in a meaningful way based on quantity. I decided to stop trying to do that. You got the book. Study the book. But I'll try and get us off to a good, enthusiastic start every week. So when we come together, I'll tell you where I'm coming from. I'm just letting Spirit decide what we cover instead of trying to cover everything anymore. Because I've heard feedback that you like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I'll just try and get us off to good starts every week, wherever we are on the schedule, and hopefully build enthusiasm to help you do your studies on a daily basis. Do the best you can. Okay.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a ritual, but we're asking for some sincere willingness, put some time into it. I think you'll find it's worth it, right?
Right?
Yes.
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 Any final thoughts or questions tonight? All right. I'll ask Hilda to close us out as usual.
Okay, here we go. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. I am the light of God.
I am.
I am the light of God.
I am the love of God.
I
I
am
am the love
of God.
I am the power of God.
I
I
am
am
Power of God.
power of
God.
I am the presence of God.
I am.
God. I am the presence of God.
Therefore,
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 wherever I am,
wherever
Wherever I am,
God is,
God is.
God is,
and all is well.
and
and
all
all is well.
There is nothing to fear.
there is nothing.
Nothing to fear.
There is only love.
There is only love.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Keep a smiley face.
Thank you.
And truth,
Thank
and
you.
you'll
Thank you,
smile
Jim.
face. Have a good rest of the week, and thank you so much for being here again. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good
Have
night,
a blessed week,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank
Ciao.
you.
Good night.
Bye.
Ciao.